Hello everybody, my name is Louisa. Welcome to my channel. Today is Halloween and I was going to wear some cat ears, but I could not find them. So I don't have any costume to show you or any cat ears to wear, but that's okay. I have my Halloween decorations on my front porch and I've got my candy ready. So I think I'm ready for Halloween. Are you ready for Halloween? Are you celebrating Halloween today? But the big question is, are you getting ready for Christmas? Christmas is right around the corner. So today we're going to learn how to make a beautiful necklace that you can give away as a Christmas gift. Okay, here's the beautiful necklace we're going to be making today. As you can see, I made it in two different colors, the reddish one and the green one. The green one is like a jade color. The reddish one is a muted red. It's not bright red, which I like because I don't like primary colors on jewelry. So I know some people use them, and I guess they're okay as accents. But if you're going to have a color and it's predominantly the same color, then I usually have a tendency to go towards the more muted tones. So this is a red one. Now you can also have both colors in one necklace. You can have like maybe the larger bead be red and the smaller beads be green. I actually did make one like that, but I decided I like it just one color better. And another thing that you could do is instead of a color, you could use like a rose-colored bead or maybe some silver beads to go along with the antique silver findings. That would also be nice, and it would definitely look like a Christmas necklace. So you could have gold and with silver findings, or you could have beautiful faceted silver beads. The universe, it's your universe, so you can make it what you want and have fun with it, and just do whatever you feel you would like, or your friends would like if you're giving it away as a gift. But these are the two that I made, and today we're going to make this green one here. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and put these away, and I'll come back and let you know all the materials you're going to be needing for this project. So let's go over the beads that we're going to be using for today's project. You're going to need 7 8mm beads, and these are this is called a Qinghai marble in a matte finish, and I got these from the December 2018 bargain bead box subscription. It was some beads that I had left over. So you'll need 7 of these. You're also going to need 12 4mm fire polished beads in a jade color. Any kind will do as long as it's 4mm. You're also going to need 4 coin beads. Now these are faceted crystal coin beads. There's no finish on them. They're just clear. And as you can see, they're flattened. They're about 8 by 5, I believe they are. And as you can see, the hole is running down the center there. So you'll need 4 of those. And then 12, I think these are 5 by 4 rondelles in a smoky crystal color. You'll need 12 of those. And then you're also going to need 12 spacer beads in an antique silver color. And these are 4mm spacer beads, any kind will do. And then last but not least, you're going to need 12 bead caps as well in an antique silver color. I believe these bead caps are about 6mm in dimension. In addition to the beads, you're going to need a pendant of some sort. This is a really pretty pendant that also came in the December 2018 bargain bead box subscription, and I had these leftovers, so I thought I would use them for this project. Real pretty. It has some pine cones in it, so definitely has the Christmas theme. You're also going to need some kind of a clasp. I chose a lobster clasp. I believe this one's 12mm. It has some 6mm jump rings already attached. These are soldered, but I mean, you don't have to have this kind of a setup. You can just have the split jump rings. That's fine as well. You also need some smaller jump rings. I've got 4 of them lined up here, and some crimp tubes as well. These are 2x2 crimp tubes. You're also going to need some wire. This is 18 gauge, and it's called zebra wire, 18 gauge, in a silver finish. You're going to need a piece about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 inches. Give yourself lots of room so you can do a little bit of wrapping. You're also going to need some chain. This one, I don't know, I think this is roller chain. And you're going to need at least 2 4-inch pieces for an 18-inch necklace. It all depends on how long you want the necklace. So, but I would recommend if you want an 18-inch necklace, based on, you know, what we're going to be doing today, you'll need 2 4-inch pieces. And then, of course, you're going to need some beading wire. This is 49 strand beading wire by FlexRite. It's pretty strong. So I think it's 0.024 inches. It's very thick, so whatever beading wire you use, you must make sure that you use the correct size crimp bead, because you need to be able to fit 2 of these through 1 crimp bead. So if the crimp bead is not big enough, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty. So I like to use the thick one because I feel like when I use thick beading wire, I don't need wire guardians, because I feel like it's sturdy enough to where, you know, it's not going to break or fray. So that's why I use this kind. But just make sure that you have the correct crimp bead. So sometimes it's really difficult to figure out how long a piece is going to be when you're working with bead caps, because if you try to lay the pattern out on one of these boards, for instance, or even on a bead tray, a regular bead tray, it's hard, it's difficult to see because the bead caps aren't going to sit properly in the channels. So what I like to do sometimes is actually thread them on a piece of beading wire or beading cord, or just anything that you can reuse. Just temporarily thread the beads on to see how they lay and how long the piece is going to be. So that's what I like to do recently. So I have this piece of cord here that I keep in my tools, and I pull it out whenever I need to lay out a design, just to take a look, to see how it drapes, and to figure out how many beads I'm actually going to need. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put together the pendant piece. And I had originally told you that we needed 12 bead caps, but we actually need 14 because we have 7 of these 8mm, and each one's going to have 2 bead caps. So you'll need a total of 14. I apologize for that. And get your piece of wire, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of wrapping. So you get the wire, do a little kink right there with chain nose pliers, okay? Then you get your round nose pliers and place the piece of wire in between the 2 jaws. Wrap the top jaw around, wrap the wire around the top jaw. Switch to the bottom jaw. Wrap it, continue wrapping it around so you have a loop. Okay, this is what you have. And then with your chain nose pliers, go ahead and form 2 to 3 wraps. This is pretty heavy wire, so 2 or even 2.5, it really doesn't matter. 2 to 3 is perfectly fine. Okay, then you want to make sure that you cut off the excess and tuck any sharp pieces, tuck them in, so whoever gets this necklace doesn't get poked. All right, so we have 1 loop. Then you're going to thread on a bead cap, an 8mm, the other bead cap. All right, so we have this, and I obviously have too much wire, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than not enough, okay? All right, so this second loop is going to be a little bit different. You get your chain nose and you kink it, leaving a little space there for the wraps, okay? Then you get your round nose and wrap the wire around the top jaw. Switch to the bottom jaw, continue wrapping around, but you're not going to wrap it completely around because you want to thread on the pendant piece, okay? So here we go, we're going to thread on the pendant piece, just like that, okay? It's a little tricky to do this sometimes, you know, if the loops are really thick, but go ahead and close up your loop there so you can continue wrapping. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. You get your chain nose pliers and you have to grab the loop like this so that you can continue wrapping the wire around. And that can be a little tricky sometimes, but with practice, it gets easier and easier. All right, so we get the wire and we just keep wrapping 2 to 3, depending on what you're doing. Okay, that's what we have. Cut off the excess, and then tuck in whatever sharp piece that is poking out. Make sure that it's tucked in. And so here is the pendant. Now the other thing you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure you line up the loops. So as you can see, my loops aren't completely lined up, so I need to twist this one around a little bit so that it's lined up perfectly with the other one. Okay, and when you do that, make sure that you don't untwist, the other loop. Okay, so here it is. I always have to fiddle with them because I'm not perfect, and I can, you know, wire wrapping is not something, you know, it's not one of my strongest skills. So, but here it is. Here's the pendant piece of the necklace. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and continue with forming the rest of the necklace. So you want to get your beading wire, and I like to use these clips at the end as bead stoppers. I'm not sure where I got these. I got these a long time ago. Maybe I got them on Amazon, or maybe Office Depot. I don't know. But anything that has like a rubber tip on it that is pretty strong, that can grab your wire, will do. So go ahead and put that on, and we're going to begin putting on our beads. The first one we're going to do is the 8mm spacer bead. Then we put the 4mm fire polished bead after that. Okay, and then the rondelle. Okay, and then a bead cap, an 8mm, another bead cap, another rondelle, a 4mm fire polished, a spacer bead, and a coin bead. So this is what we have, and we're going to repeat the same thing again. Okay, so go ahead and put on a spacer bead, a spacer bead, a 4mm fire polished bead, a rondelle, a bead cap, the 8mm bead, another bead cap, another rondelle, 8mm fire polished bead, another spacer bead, and another coin bead. Okay, so here we have 2 sets separated by coin beads. Okay, can you see that? I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. Here's your arrangement of beads, and here's what separates each one. Okay, so we're going to do 1/3 set of this arrangement before we add the pendant. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so here it is. Three sets separated by the coin bead. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and add the pendant to this end, just like that. Thread it on just like that. All right, so the pendant is actually going to be in between these two. We're going to continue this pattern on the other side of the thread, so it'll be sitting between 2 spacer beads. So anyway, go ahead and do this exact same arrangement on the other side, and I'm going to go ahead and finish it off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, so here it is. I've threaded on the rest of the beads. As you can see, like I said before, you have 3 of these arrangements, which consist of a spacer bead, a 4mm, a rondelle, and then an 8mm with bead caps on either side, another rondelle, and a 4mm and a spacer bead. That's the arrangement. That's the pattern. Each one, there's 3 of those. Each one is separated by a coin bead. So there are 2 coin beads here separating the pattern. Okay, you end with a spacer bead. You don't put a coin bead there, just a spacer bead. And you do the same thing on the other side with the pendant in the middle. All right, so now all we have to do is attach the crimp beads. So get one end and get a crimp bead. All right, thread it on. Here I've threaded on the bead, and then I'm threading the other end of the wire through the crimp bead to form a loop, okay? Go ahead and shorten that loop. You don't want it too small, but you don't want it too big either. Maybe 3 millimeters long, 3 by 2, something like that. Not real big, okay, and not real small, because you don't want it to be too obvious, okay. It kind of matches the links a little bit. Can you see that? It's kind of the same size as one of the links on the chain. So that's what I'm shooting for. I'm trying to make it, you know, as inconspicuous as possible. So you go ahead and make sure that your beading wire is sitting properly. It's sitting side by side. And you're going to go ahead and crimp it, okay, using the channel that's closest to the inside, your hand, using the, what do you call it? There are 2 channels. The inside channel, squeeze it, and then using the other channel, go ahead and squeeze it this way. Okay, now I always get my chain nose pliers and I squeeze it even more because I want it to be nice and tight, okay? And then leaving just a little bit of wire so that you can thread it through the beads, not too much, maybe 1/4 of an inch, something like that. Snip off the excess, okay? And then you're gonna go ahead and push the wires all the way down so that you can thread some of that little tail that we left through that first bead or the second bead, the first 2 beads, I should say. Thread it down. So now you have a little loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the chain to that loop using a jump ring, okay? So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Get your crimp bead, thread it through, and then thread the tail through the same crimp bead, like so, okay? And you want to tighten that loop, not too much, because you want some freedom of movement. If it's too tight, if the beads are too tight, they're going to look kind of stiff, and it's not going to have, they're not going to look flowy. So you want the beads to drape properly and to flow a little bit, okay? You don't want too much space though, but you definitely don't want it to be real tight, okay? And again, you want to make a little loop that is about the same size as one of the links of the chain, something like that, okay? And then once you have the right size loop, get your crimping pliers, using the first channel, give it a squeeze, and then turn it, use the second channel to close it up a little bit, and then using pliers, I don't think I closed that properly. Let me try again. Okay, there we go. Now we got it, okay? Then tighten it up. Tighten up that crimp bead some more so it doesn't fall apart. Cut off the excess. Tuck it in if you can. All right, and so this is what we have. So now that the difficult part is over, we're going to go ahead and attach the chain to the loops that we just made. So go ahead and grab one of your jump rings, one of the smaller ones, the 5mm jump rings. I already opened mine up to save time. Thread it through one of the loops that we just made. Get your 4-inch piece of chain and thread that through the jump ring through the link. Close up your jump ring. Make sure that it's nice and closed. Okay. So there's one end. Let's do the other end. Grab another jump ring. Thread it through the loop and put on the other piece of chain. Close it up. All right, so now we have the 2 pieces of chain attached. And now we're going to go ahead and attach the clasp. Get another smaller jump ring. Thread it through the other end. Of course, if you were using 6mm jump rings that are not soldered, you wouldn't need to do this, but these are soldered, so I have to do this. Close it up. Okay, so I have that end attached. And now let me go ahead and take this one off. Another option is to actually open up this link and attach it to, and then close it up again. But I just, you know, I don't like to do that because I don't feel it's going to be sturdy enough. So it's better just to use some 18 gauge jump rings like I'm using that are pretty strong, and connect the 6mm soldered jump ring onto that. Close up your smaller jump ring, and there you go. Okay, there's the necklace. Very simple necklace, easy to put together, quick and easy, and absolutely gorgeous when you wear it. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to put it on and show you. So here's the beautiful necklace we just made, and I think it's really pretty. What do you think? I love this kind of thing. It's you know, I love wearing gemstones, number one. I mean, gemstones to me, that's just the ultimate as far as jewelry. I love wearing them. And this is the perfect necklace for Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holiday season. It's got pine cones, it's green, but you know, you can wear it anytime really. So anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I've shown you a couple of things. I hope you've learned a little bit, given you some ideas for your own necklaces. And I really appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot for subscribing. Please leave me some comments if you have some comments to make. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.